Hey guys, Crypto Rational here. Today we are going to rank all of the tokens that are, in my opinion, worth staking for to get the sickest airdrops. Now we have here 16 tokens. Most of you will probably know most of them. All of these tokens have I would say, a decent chance of, giving some airdrops, but some are better than others, and some are much better than others. So this tier list is made for February 2024. So you guys have the most up-to-date information on these tokens, what their future will be, what the current price is, what my predictions are. I'll put a short pros and cons for every token. Nothing is financial advice. Do your own research, but let's start. So the first on the list, I think we all know this one, Celestia, aka ticker TIA. So as of today, it's trading at above $20. Had a super bullish run. Price was stagnant for about $2, pumped to 7, then to 14 to 17, pumped to 20, pumped back to 14, and now we're at the $20 range again. Some might say it's overvalued, some might say it's undervalued. Let's discuss it. So, in my opinion, TIA is a solid S tier, and I will tell you why. First reason, you're getting a lot of airdrops. Just gonna name a few: Lightlink, Polymer, Monad, Movement, Bera, Hyperlane, Milky Way, Prism, the Stride airdrop, Saga, Eclipse, Caldera. List goes on and on. Basically, a lot of airdrops are coming your way. Second reason, can liquid stake it with Milky Way, with Stride, get some super nice API on it, minimize your risk. If in case the price drops, you still get that nice API to sort of cover that for that. Bad news, basically two things. First, the requirement to stake Celestia or TIA. I would say your safest around 50 plus TIA's tokens, so it will be $1,000 investment. At the bare minimum, I would say at least 36, 26, 21. Yeah, that would probably be the lower bound. Below that, definitely might be worth to still stake it, but you won't be getting most of the airdrops. Second part, 1 October and the last of November, there'll be about 17% of the supply unlocking. So you basically have all those venture capitalists that bought it for a few cents. They'll probably dump it. No, luckily that's in like 8 to 9 months, so we still have plenty of time to farm those airdrops. I would just suggest, sort of after you get a nice chunk of airdrops, maybe around June, July, you sort of gradually start dollar cost average selling the token. You can buy back in. So as I said, very strong, very bullish on this. Lots of airdrops. Buy it, stake it. Uh, might as well liquid stake it with Stride, get some nice API, sort of cover for that high price. Yeah, so that's basically my opinion on Celestia. I think a lot of people will agree with me. I would say buying it as of today at $20, might wait for a red day coming, this week, next week, get it TIA for around $17, $18, it would be a bit nicer. Don't think you would be missing out on a lot of snapshots. But hey, if you have the money, you can buy it today, or you can buy it. I would suggest buying it at 18, 17, or if the price drops even lower, at that price. So, next token up ahead, I moved it up front, is the Dymension token. Why it's super relevant as of today. I think the price is trading at $8. Yeah, basically a few reasons why this is super bullish. Well, on the testnet, they have about, I think, 1,100 projects that are have been uploaded on the testnet. That doesn't say everything, but it does give a sort of sentiment that people are interested in it and they want to build on it. And projects that build are usually projects that airdrop. And if they're being built on Dymension or with Dymension or surrounding anything close to Dymension, they'll probably airdrop Dymension token holders. Now, what are the 3 airdrops I would be most bullish on? The Phil airdrop video and the W airdrop, aka the wormhole airdrop. Well, the good news is that you're probably early for the snapshots because the token launched, I think, about 2 days ago, maybe not even 2 days. So yeah, you're super early. I would say the price is super volatile though. And if those airdrops are not coming soon, I think the price is gonna drop or get a nice correction. So you might want to wait till it matures a bit, or if you want to be safe and not miss out on anything, you can buy it right now and stake it. So yeah, Dymension is going to the S tier. So the next one on the list is the Pyth network. I will say a few things about it. First opinion is it's quite overhyped. It's overvalued, in my opinion. If you take a quick look at the chart, sort of had a run up. I think an X2 at the moment, mainly because of there's been a lot of hype on Twitter, YouTube, but still, I think it's a good token to have some exposure. First, let me show you the chart. So as you can see, it sort of dropped 25 cents, and we can sort of see the last few weeks where it's been a lot heavily promoted on all kinds of social media. The price, it ran off. But yeah, would I buy Pyth at 50 cents? Probably not. Would I buy it at 40 cents? Maybe. Would I buy it below 40 cents? 35, 30 cents? Yes, definitely yes. The reason being the ecosystem. Let me show you guys a quick chart. So you can see it's huge. It's really huge. Will all of these projects airdrop Pyth holders or stakers? No. But even if 10% of these projects airdrop you, or 5%, it will definitely be worth your while. I think the most upcoming airdrop is Zero Land, which is just a strong project. I would say quite bullish on. Yeah, so basically my advice would be wait for a red day, as with Dia, when the price drops, to the 40-cent range, maybe a bit lower. Buy it. Don't buy too much, maybe a few $100 or whatever you can spare. Stake it and basically forget about it. When these airdrops will be coming out, I would say it's already diluted, but not diluted enough that I would say that it will not be worth staking a few $100. I think as of now it's still worth it. But yeah, I think it's a long-term hold. For those reasons, looking at the ecosystem, there's a decent amount of hype surrounding it. I will put this in the high B tier, to be honest. Reason is the price, in my opinion, is a bit overvalued at this point. There's basically only one confirmed airdrop. That it has a large ecosystem might imply that there will be more airdrops, but when those airdrops, won't come, that price will dump. Will dump probably back to 20 cents. I'm sure of it. So yeah, I would say medium risk strategy. Start dollar cost averaging somewhere below 40 cents. Stake it, hold it, cash in those airdrops. So the next tokens will be from the Cosmos ecosystem. I'll start with the father, Atom. I will put Atom at a solid C tier. and I will tell you why. Atom has been around for a few years. What basically happened is that a lot of projects are getting built on the Cosmos ecosystem, or are heavily using the IBC technology and stuff like that, but they're not necessarily airdropping them. There might be a shift in this. I've seen a lot of people on Twitter and other um, social media basically telling projects, please airdrop us, please airdrop us. I'm not that bullish. I have exposure to Atom. I think I have a few hundred staked, just in case. I would definitely suggest that you stake some, but don't stake too much. I think for every dollar that you stake in Atom, you're better off staking it with Tia, because I think that Tia will be getting a lot more airdrops that Atom won't be getting, and I think most of the airdrops you'll be getting on Atom, you'll also get on Tia, and Atom is heavily diluted already, so it's a solid C tier basically because it's the grandfather. So I'm expecting some kind of airdrops. I think the price will remain quite stable. Tokenomics look pretty good. Um, I think for long term, Cosmos will be around. Sorry, Atom will be around for a long while. Cosmos also will be around for a long while. So it's definitely a token you can buy it today. Just take it, get some nice API on it, and basically forget about it. Maybe in the coming bull run you'll get some nice airdrops. Maybe not. Maybe put like 3 to 5% of your portfolio in this as of your crypto portfolio. Sorry, not of your total portfolio, of course, but your crypto portfolio. Uh, or let me even be more specific, of your crypto staking portfolio. Yeah, put like 3 to 5% of that. Just to have some exposure. So the next one I will be talking about is Kujira. Um, this is a hard one because I invested in this quite early. Um, I was pretty bullish about it. I am a bit less bullish about it because basically I've not been seeing any attention, any good news. It seems like most influencers, most people on Twitter, YouTube, even the project owners. I won't say forget about it, but it's getting like a lot less attention than the other tokens. What I would say is that I think a small amount of Kujira could yield you a nice airdrop though, because it's not as diluted as the other tokens. It's quite a bit smaller. If you pull up the tokenomics of it, you can see 400 million market cap. You know, I don't think will be. Yeah, I don't think the price will probably pump that much. Maybe it will go back to $5, but I don't think we'll drop below $2.5. I mean, we're like at what 1/8, 1/9 of the Celestia um, market cap. So what I will say in favor of Kujira is that I think if larger projects are coming to build on it, and you're staking or you're going to stake soon, you're probably early enough to get in a snapshot where it'll be less diluted. So for that reason, I will put this also in C tier, but I'll put it right in front of Atom. Yeah, with this, I would say like maybe 1 to 2% of your portfolio. Put some exposure on it. As again, I think $1 in Dymension or $1 in Tia or even $1 in a bit will go further. But having some kind of exposure is very nice at this point because market cap is quite low. So even staking a few $100 or maybe even staking $1,000 if you have a large portfolio, I think it could yield you quite nice airdrop. Before you guys get all mad, it's just my opinion and just basically what I think. Is it the absolute truth? No. Can I be wrong? Most definitely. But I think what happened is that you saw probably a lot of threads, a lot of YouTube videos where they were saying like stake one Tia, stake a few Kuji, stake a few Atom, you're getting all these kind of airdrops, and so far nothing has been announced really. That's been worth staking for. So if you, put that money in Tia, for example, you've gotten a lot more airdrops. But what I will agree on is that having some exposure in it is definitely nice. But don't dilute your position by making an equal portfolio, an equally weighted portfolio. So don't do like 20% Atom, 20% Tia. No, like put a tilt on it towards Tia. If I'm using too much finance terminology, I'm sorry, but basically, what a tilt means is that you'll put a larger relative amount of Tia in your portfolio. So it will be tilted towards, in my opinion, the S tier tokens. Okay, so let's quickly move on. Osmosis. I would say Osmosis has been doing better than Kujira and Cosmos. It's the biggest, I would say, it's not the only one, but the biggest swap, the biggest DEX in the Cosmos ecosystem, heavily known. I think this is a solid B tier, simply because I think a lot of projects will want to keep Osmosis or Osmosis holders very happy. If you launch a token, it's going to be, if you launch a token on the Cosmos ecosystem, it's going to be heavily geared towards Osmosis, or it will be definitely be tradable on Osmosis. So I think for that reason alone, and for the reason that I've seen quite a lot of governance on it, quite a lot of tokens airdropped. Well, not quite a lot, but I think I had like the whale token that I like for Osmosis. I think the Prism token is also giving an airdrop to Osmosis holders, also to Atom holders, but the Osmosis one will be less diluted because it's smaller, of course. So I would say Osmosis solid B tier. Basically, you'll probably be getting more airdrops than Kujira. And if you're getting airdrops on Osmosis, I think the dollar value of that airdrop might be higher than on Atom, simply because Atom is very heavily diluted. Yeah, so for that reason, I would, put maybe 5%, 5% of your portfolio, 5 to 6, 7% of your portfolio to Osmosis. I think, as the Cosmos ecosystem is growing, there will be more swaps, more volumes, maybe even when the meme coins come up, the price of Osmosis will be going up. So, yeah, my opinion, buy it. And not financial advice, do no research, but buy it, stake it, forget about it. All right, next up we have Injective. I will say Injective is probably a very, very strong B tier. Couple of reasons. It's been getting a lot more attention. Prism is doing an airdrop for it. Hydro Finance is doing an airdrop for it. I think Dodo Swap might also be doing an airdrop for it. You have Black Panther, which is which has been getting quite a bit of FUD, but if you staked with them, they're validated. You would get an airdrop. Dallas will be giving you an airdrop if you staked it with them. Yeah, I would also say the price has been dropping quite a bit. So if you look at the chart, it had a huge run up, 6 to 10 to 40, now to $32. Yeah, it had a nice correction. Still a bit overvalued, in my opinion. But, if you want to get these airdrops, I would suggest buying it soon and staking it. If you think it's overvalued, you can wait a bit, might get a correction. But I think, again, my opinion, not financial advice, but I think when we start seeing these big airdrops on Injective, a lot of people will flock to it. and that might pump the price up quite a bit. That and the Injective ecosystem and the community is very, very strong in my opinion. It's well organized. I'm not sponsored by any of these tokens, of course. My channel is very small, so I can give a very objective opinion on everything. I basically have exposure in almost everything, so I'm equally biased. But yeah, I think Injective airdrops are looking good, getting more exposure. Yeah, I would suggest strong B tier, not A tier, but yeah, I would say strong B tier. All right. So next up, we're going to discuss the Manta airdrop. Well, not the Manta airdrop itself, which has got quite a lot of FUD, but holding Manta for airdrops. I didn't participate in any of the Manta staking because I knew how diluted it was, and the gas fees on Ethereum. Like, unless, in my opinion, if you're doing like volume with 10 plus ETH, then it's worth it. Below that, I skipped it. My capital was kind of in different coins, so I didn't bother. And looking at it, I'm happy I didn't bother because putting that money into the Cosmos ecosystem or the Solana ecosystem gave me a lot more rewards. But I will say this: for airdrops alone, and looking at the price of Manta, which is between $2 to $3, I think it's solid A tier. I think a lot of tokens are going to be airdropping to Manta holders. You're super early, so if you buy it and you stake it, I think you'll qualify for 99% of airdrops. I don't think projects took snapshots that soon. But yeah, Manta ecosystem, very huge. I think what might help you out is, like what I usually say: buy when there's blood on the streets. Um, Huge, a lot of FUD, which in my opinion was deserved because they sort of fuck people over. Yeah, they did, especially at smaller players. So I understand the sentiment that people don't want to do, don't want to, um, don't want to interact with it or don't want to hold it. But I would suggest having a decent amount of exposure. I would say 5 to 10% of your portfolio to Manta will be worth it for two reasons. I think the token is undervalued. I think it can definitely reach the $10 range, maybe even higher. And I think it will be getting a lot of airdrops. I think the API for staking is also pretty attractive. So yeah, in my opinion, solid A tier. Yeah, we can take a quick look at the chart. Um, it's been hovering around $2 here, bumped all the way up to 3.8, and it had a correction at 2.7. I'm like, again, I'm not saying like buy it right now or something like that, but if you want to start dollar cost averaging, this might be a good point to start. It might drop a little bit lower, it might go up a bit higher, but I think the $2 range, $2.50 range is pretty attractive at this point. Depending on what Bitcoin does. Currently, it's at 45,000, so that's been bumping up the whole market. But if you look at the price, so it's been dumping actually. So, yeah, might be worth buying it. Again, not financial advice, but for the long term, go for it. If you want to make a quick flip, I would suggest waiting a bit longer. But if you want to stake, start soon. All right. Now, most of most, I think I might be a bit less bullish or a bit, well, I won't say depressing, but yeah, I would say a bit more rational, as in the name, about most tokens. But here's a token I'm quite bullish about. and that's Eigenlayer. Eigenlayer, my opinion, easily top, man, top 10, top 15, top maybe top 20 token. Looking at the market cap that it will have. Now this token, I don't think it will give you other airdrops, but I'm talking about staking your ETH with Eigenlayer for the Eigenlayer airdrop. So the pro, in my opinion, is it will be huge. I think everybody sort of unanimously agreed that it will be huge. The airdrop itself, I'm expecting quite a bit. The downside, it's not for small players. If you have less than one ETH to play with, I won't bother with it. And that might sound a bit harsh, but like unless you sort of time it with when the gas fees are lowest, which is usually the weekends or Monday morning, or UTC morning, below one ETH, you'll be eating up your investment purely with gas fees. If you're paying $20, $30, $50 on an investment of, let's say, $500, yeah, it's you're eating up 10% of your investment or your internal investment just by doing one transaction. So, if you can time it when the gas fees are low, go ahead. But I tend to avoid airdrops like these when the gas fees are, in my opinion, higher than 1 to 3% of the amount I'm investing in, which is quite conservative. But I think it's a solid strategy to not get burned like with Manta. Now, I don't think you will get burned like Manta, but I think if you're staking less than that, the cost to like make the swaps, stake it, or unstake it, will eat up like a lot of capital. And I think having less than one ETH in Ethereum mainnet is it's not really worth it, to be honest. I think you will eat it up in gas fees like within like 10 to 20 transactions. It would be way better suited either on layer 2 or on Cosmos or on Solana. Like, don't waste your hard-earned money, especially if you don't have a lot of capital. Don't waste it on those high gas fees. They're like absurdly high. Like, it's not worth it. But if you have the capital and you have been restaking with Eigenlayer, in my opinion, it will be huge. So I'll be putting this at a solid S tier, right behind the Dymension, just because it's not applicable to everyone. But I think this will be something to be looking forward to. Okay, yeah, let's sort of quickly move on. Yeah, Sui. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I think it's a worse version of Sai. Um, looking at the tokenomics, looking at the price. I mean, are you getting airdrops with it? I mean, they have over like 80 projects being built on the Sui main ecosystem. Price has been pretty high though. I think it's quite a bit overvalued at this point. But yeah, I think it will be a good candidate for airdrops. But I think the problem is that most people sort of got burned with the Sui airdrop itself. It was very, very underwhelming. So most people are thinking like this: if the Sui token itself didn't give a great airdrop, what can we expect from the ecosystem from it? Not sure if I sort of share the same opinion. I think you have like Scallop and you have some other, big projects. You have Aftermath 5, you have the Hadel project, which I think can give, decent airdrops. But yeah, it's a hard one because I'm not sure if the price correction that Sui will get will compensate for for the dollar value that you'll get from it in airdrops. So this is a hard one because ecosystem looks good. Price is high. So I would say I will put this in the low B tier if the price sort of drops and you can buy it below. Well, what's a good price? Let's take a quick look at the chart. Yeah. Started at this, dropped till 30 cents, bumped to $1.50. Yeah, I think I wouldn't should suggest buying it at $1.50, to be honest. I think the one well, what's it? Oh, I'm not sure if it will go back to $1 depending on what Bitcoin does, but I think $1 was a good price to buy it. Yeah, $1.50 definitely overbought at this point. We'll put it in because this is, you know, tier list as of today. I'll put it at C tier simply because I don't think that the amount of airdrops will compensate you for what I will think will be a quite heavy correction. All right, let's move on. We'll go with SEI, which in my opinion is the better version of Zoe. Ecosystem. Yeah, I would say you have pallet exchange for NFTs, which has been getting quite you know, a lot of volume. You have two very nice projects, Yaka Finance and Kawa, which in my opinion will be pretty bullish. Yaka will be the liquidity provider, and Kawa will be a borrow and lending platform. Yaka had some NFTs which you could buy for 100 SAI, and I think the floor price as of today is 1200 SAI. So that one's pretty bullish. But yeah, simply looking at airdrops, I think you can stake it. You know, the usual outside of validators, outside the top 20. Um, yeah, or with Kryptonite. Um, I'm not sure if there are a lot of confirmed airdrops though. You know, there's some. It will become more integrated with EVM. So when that happens, I think in a month or two, the price might go up. But for airdrops alone, to be honest, outside of Yaka, Kawa, um, maybe Pallet Exchange. Yeah, Pallet Exchange had a point system, so I think that will give you some airdrops, but not for staking. So simply for staking, I'll put it in C tier, you know, in front of Sui, simply because I don't think Sai has been overbought as much. So I think looking at it from an investment side, yeah, it's definitely. I don't think you can go wrong with it, but put your exposure at like a maximum of 3%. Keep an eye on Yaka, Kawa. Maybe use Sai to buy some NFTs, which are pretty cheap. Look into the blue chip NFTs. You know, if it bumps, you're in a good position. But for airdrops, you know, I'm not sure if there will be any confirmed airdrops anytime soon for stakers, or at least anything worth mentioning. Yeah, but still, for the long term and for the projects that are going to build on it, and looking at the future of Sai, it might be worth it to already buy it, stake it, so you're early for the snapshots. So let's look at the Solana ecosystem. So Jupiter, I would say C tier. Um, you can sort of stake it with Camino, or you can stake it with Jupiter itself, or what do I say? Stake it for the launchpad. But as like with most launchpads, you'll be heavily diluted. So if you're a small player, it might not even be worth it. And again, launchpads are well, they're quite volatile. But just looking at the allocation side of it, my opinion, Jupiter is also a C tier. Um, yeah, no, actually, I would put it a D tier simply because for staking and just looking at the price and looking at the tokenomics, I'm not quite bullish on it. Especially the launchpad part. If it doesn't work out, if the projects are, um, yeah, not worth your allocation, probably drop like a brick. Um, yeah, I would say strong D tier. If you got it airdropped, you might want to hold on to it. But if you didn't get airdropped, I honestly wouldn't go out my way to buy it. Your capital can be used in a more efficient way. If you're from the Camino airdrop, then it might be worth it, but that will be just short-term hold. But for the long-term hold, yeah, I'm not that bullish on it, to be honest. All right, let's talk about Altlayer. Um, can't really say that much about it right now. Their staking mechanism isn't live yet, so we simply don't know. Um, the price, not that bullish on. But simply, what I think happened is that a lot of people looked at it from this perspective. They staked Atom, they got Thea, they staked Thea, and they got Altlayer. So they think if they still stake Altlayer, they'll get other airdrops. This one's a bit of a black box. For that reason alone, I'll put it in I'll put it in C tier. Probably, yeah, probably right here. Yeah, I see. I've seen like some threads about like stake your alt. Like where do you stake your alt at this point? Um, yeah, I can't say that more about it, to be honest. Um, looking at tokenomics, I'm not that bullish. But yeah, it might do the the sort of like the cycle where you get a coin, you stake it, you get another token, you stake that, and you sort of like get sort of snowball effect. So for that reason, I'll put that C because I think projects will airdrop to it, but it's a black box to say when and how much they will airdrop and stuff like that. I think it's way too soon to say anything about it. All right, let's quickly move on with SAI. Um, to summarize, in my opinion, A tier, um, very close to Manta, might be even better than Manta. GameFi, they've heavily suggested that they'll be focusing on airdrops. Um, yeah, I think this can be a banger. Also looking at the chart, doesn't seem that overbought. Yeah, might work to get a nice 5% um, exposure to. Yeah, there's not much I can say about it at this point. I think there will be airdrops coming to it. If you're bullish on GameFi, then you can increase your exposure to it. If you have the opinion that GameFi will take off during the next bull run, it might be worth putting some more money in it. But yeah, I think it's a solid buy. Yeah. So we have the SAGA coin, which has been described as sort of the, well, let's say the game token. I think of Cosmos. Well, not of Cosmos. It will be its own ecosystem, but it'll sort of behave like Cosmos without getting into too much technical details. But yeah, not that much information about it. But I think but yeah, it's a bit early to say anything about it. But I think it will be a solid A tier. Yeah. Now we have the last one. So the last one is Axelar. I think it's a bit more unknown to the general mainstream, but they claim themselves that they will be the Stripe, the payment provider. of the Web3. Simply looking at the chart, you can sort of see the extra attention it has been getting. Yeah, I think for airdrops, it's hard to say if they become the Stripe of Web3 as they claim. Yeah, you will probably eat good. But I think even if it doesn't, I think it still has some potential to maybe go for an X3, X5, maybe even X10. I usually don't say this very often, but I think it has some good future potential. So I'll put this as a weak A tier, I would say, simply because I'm bullish on the tokenomics, and if what they claim will become true, um, yeah, we can sort of expect great things from them. It's a bit of a black box. I definitely wouldn't put a large amount of exposure to it, but maybe a nice 5% of your portfolio if you're the aggressive type. Not even for the airdrops to be honest, but just for the tokenomics, and I think it might go for a nice run this bull run. So yeah, I would say yeah, A tier. And that basically concludes the whole tier list. If you've been listening from the start, thank you very much. Yeah, I'll be putting out a lot more videos. I think I have also a few videos on how much tiers to stake, few other airdrops, testnet airdrops, um, staking airdrops, few airdrops that you need to mint some NFTs for. Basically, a bit of everything. Yeah, so like, subscribe, comment what you think of my opinion again, and don't shoot me. It's simply my opinion. Um, Again, not financial advice. Always do your own research, and have a great day. See you in the next video.